Welcome to lecture number 12, where I will tell you briefly about the second part of experiment 2, where with RLC circuit only, with some initial conditions, and you will see that this RLC circuit, of course, is not series connected as it turns out to be. And the circuit given to your lab manual is like this. This is the RLC circuit. Okay, there is L, there is capacitance, there are two sources, 12 volt, there are essentially two switches. This circuit can be simplified way, can be drawn as follows. It can be drawn like this. The same circuit. You see, here let us try to get the idea what we are supposed to do. Here there is an inductance cell, and generally first consider the case when K2 is opened and K1 is closed. Okay, in that case, as you can see, if the circuit is kept for a long time, then the voltage across the plate of the capacitor will become 12 volt, and so no 12 not 12 volt, 6 volt, because it is a potential divider then after a transient has died down for this circuit, and it will be 6 volt. Okay, 12 by 2R into R is the voltage across the capacitance, and that I call V0. Okay, so K2 is open, so this circuit is totally isolated from this circuit. Similarly, consider the left hand side circuit where there is an inductance and two resistances shown, of which this R is insignificant, very small. It is only for the measurement purposes, that is R is practically, this smaller is practically 0. So in this circuit also the current will be, strictly speaking, 12 divided by smaller plus R2. But if this smaller is much smaller than this R2, it is as good as it is 12 by R2. R tending to 0, a small resistance. Why this small resistance is connected is to see the current waveform in the inductor after the transient is initiated by operating these switches. Therefore, that is the thing. So this drop is negligibly small. This is the thing. Now what you do, what is t equal to 0? T equal to 0 is the instant when I will open circuit K1, I will open it this way, and I will close it. Both these operations I will do at that time, which I am calling it to be t equal to 0. Therefore, when you do that, this capacitor had some initial voltage, this. What about this inductor initial current? If you leave this circuit in this fashion with this R not practically present, the final current which will be flowing in the inductor in this direction is 12 by R2. We know that. So 12 by R2 is the initial inductor current. Now you close this and open this, then the circuit will be something, I will draw that circuit. So for t greater than 0, the circuit will look like this. So for t greater than 0, the circuit will look like this is 12 volt. This resistance is insignificant, the small r. This is your L, this is your R2, this is your R2, and this is now closed, so this is shorted, and here is a capacitor, and in parallel with a resistance. This is the R, this is the C, and that's all, plus minus 12 volt. And because it is now opened, K1 is now opened, this R and 12 volt is outside the purview of the circuit now, and it will be like that. So in this circuit, at t equal to 0, inductor inherited some current from the previous circuit here, and capacitor also inherited some voltage from this 12 volt source. Those values will be known to me. So the thing is V0 and I0 are known. What is I? I is this current. What is V? This voltage. Now looking at this circuit, it looks like now I have to form a differential equation, and I will try to form it as I have told you in terms of the voltage across the capacitor. Let us see how it is done. Now suppose you take this point as your reference point and O.0 and try to apply nodal method of circuit analysis. So this voltage, therefore the voltage of this node is, suppose I say this is, so this node voltage is Vt, that's all. Say this point is B, so potential of B with respect to O is the assumed capacitor voltage Vt. Then you write KCL at this node, because all are joined together, na? So current in this circuit is KCL you write at node B, C dV dt, this is the thing. Then so it will be C dV dt, this current, plus current flowing through R, Vt by R, and this current is V by R2. So this can be combined together, 1 by R plus 1 by R2 into Vt. And this must be equal to current coming in, and that is equal to the inductor current It. Is not? That will be the thing. Now look at this inductor current. The potential difference between these 2 points has to be L di dt, as we have learned earlier. And the potential of this point with respect to this is V, the same V appears here. Therefore L di dt, this is equation 1, and equation 2 will be the voltage of this point with respect to this is 12, this is V with respect to this point, therefore L di dt must be equal to 12 minus V. That is the thing. So from this you will get the value of di dt, or you can calculate it. Di dt is equal to 12 minus V divided by L, whatever is the value of L. Put this in equation 1. How? I will differentiate this equation. So C d2V dt2 plus this is 1 over R plus 1 over R2 into dV dt is equal to di dt from 1, and di dt is nothing but 12 minus V by L. Got the point? So your differential equation will now look like this one. If you bring something to the left hand side, it will be odd. You will get C d2v dt2 plus 1 over r plus 1 over r2 into dv dt. It was there already, isn't it? And plus of v by L is equal to 12 by L. Got the point? Then divide by C both sides, d2v dt2 plus 1 over C into 1 over R plus 1 over R2 into dv dt plus V by LC is equal to 12 by LC. And right side is constant. Forcing function is constant. So it is now a second order differential equation. So although it is not simple series circuit, but even if two energy storing elements are present, in general you can have a second order differential equation, and that is what we have got. And after I have got this, the solution of this natural so what is the solution due to forcing function? Solution due to forcing function will be 12 by LC divided by 1 over LC, that is 12 volt. That will be the solution. Final voltage across the plates of the capacitor, because resistances are there, so there will be energy dissipations also. So finally the inductor will be short circuited, dIdt will not be there, so this 12 volt will appear across the capacitor. So how that change will take place from V0 to this 12 volt, that waveform you have to see with the help of a CRO. Okay, now so this is the thing, essential thing is this. Then you see natural response solution, you then say okay, the solution, whether it is overdamped, underdamped, whether there will be oscillations or not, then you translate this equation to this form, 2 zeta omega n, you say this one, and you say this one to be zeta got the point, omega n square into V 1 by LC we have done several times, this is the and equal to 0. So once again the response may be oscillatory, may be overdamped, may be underdamped. Because the moment I have written this equation, the other things will follow. So another point now becomes clear. It need not be that RLC should be always connected in series and then only oscillations will take place, or exponential overdamped case, underdamped case, etc. But it may happen also in this case. But only thing here is while finding out those constants A1 and A2, you have to be careful, because it is not that initial conditions are 0. Therefore, to find out the constants, depending upon whether the roots, there will be 3 cases as usual, and there are now initial conditions. So apply them properly. Don't make right hand side 0 every time I0 or V0 is concerned. So I will say that okay, the solution of Vt will be some, in general, if the roots are m1t plus a2 into e to the power m2t plus the solution due to forcing function, which is already there 12. So when I apply the boundary condition, V0 is not equal to 0 but equal to V0, whatever 6 volt or whatever it is we have set to. So like that you have to find out the constants A1, A2. Similarly, while calculating the current in the inductor, it is simply not C dvdt is the current. Current through the inductor can be found out from these. Got the point? L di dt is this. So, to get the current flowing through the inductor, that is IT, what you have to do, not only C dv dt, but also you have to add this term. It will be slightly involved, but the idea is very clear, and that you set to I0 value to find out those two constants. Anyway, read books and do it, otherwise the experiment is very well defined and standard experiment. So this is the thing. Only last point I will tell about slightly about this relay, because additional things are there. Where is that page? That is here is what I have to do is this. In this circuit I have to open this switch K1 and close K2 almost simultaneously. That with hand it can be done with the help of, but there may be some problem, there may be some delay, synchronization is difficult. Therefore, what this additional circuitry, whatever is present, something is written as relay coil. What happens is this relay coil has got a switch. It has got two contacts. One is normal, NO means normally open, NC means normally closed contact. And when you energize this one, normally closed contact will become open and normally open contact will become closed. This is a very simple idea. See, suppose you may not be knowing, so it is better you know a little bit things. Suppose you have an electromagnet like this. What this NO and NC means I am telling. Now you have a coil wound over it. This is, I am drawing the relay with one NO contact. NO means what? Normally open contact, and NC is normally closed contact. What is, how this is achieved? And this is the relay coil. Clear? Now this relay coil, I have connected it with a switch, some 12 volt. Now this electromagnet has got a movable armature. Suppose it is a iron strip like this. This is a iron strip. Okay, and there is a, of course, a spring attached to it. Now, if you close this coil, against this spring tension, it will be attracted, because this will become electromagnet, lines of force will flow. So, and it is hinged at this point, so it will move downwards. This is the armature of the relay coil. Now, what is done is, you imagine that there is a copper strip. Very interesting idea, and it is in use for many applications. Induction motor starter, NONC contacts are very much used. Electromechanical ways of achieving this. That is, suppose you have here this thing, whatever I have drawn, is suppose a copper strip, and this copper strip is fixed onto the upper face of this armature. Of course, iron is also a conductor. So you put some insulation here, and over it you keep this copper strip. Okay, got the point. That is the put this and this point. Although electrical, they are isolated here by some insulator. Understood? You paste this copper strip. Okay, similarly, you can have a copper strip here also pasted on the down portion of this armature. Thick copper strip. So these are copper strips. And they are connected to the surface of this iron portion after insulating it. Okay. Now it is like this, that suppose you have got uh, two contacts, two terminals, electrical terminal, relay coil is not energized, and two electrical terminals here, a pair of terminals, to which I will connect some other circuit. Okay. Now the thing is, when the relay coil is not energized, that this switch is opened, these 2 points will get shorted because via this copper strip, and these two are open circuited. So that is why it is called normally open contact. And this is a normally closed contact. Normally closed contact. Clear? So this is the thing. You energize this. If this coil is not energized, normally closed contact, these two terminals will get shorted, these two terminal open circuited. If you energize this coil, this fellow will come down, and these two will get shorted, and these two will become open. So with respect to that, NO-NC contacts are provided. Therefore, you will be doing simultaneously the two things. That switching will be done by this, and it is just mentioned here in a separate, in a simplified diagram, how people show it. A relay coil is there, and it might have several NO and NC. These are not capacitor, mind you. This contact, normally open contact, and this contact, normally closed contact. This is how electrically it is said. In many logics of electrical circuit, this type of contacts will be used, which will be decided by whether the relay coil is supplied with some voltage or not. So precisely this thing has been done here. So this relay coil, if it is open circuited, this NC contact, these are the two terminals which are open circuited normally, or these are shorted by that copper strip, so closed, and this is open. When it is energized, opposite thing will happen. So in any case, this is in short the experiments that you have to do, and most probably I feel that I have given you enough informations, just not routine type, also so that your thought process enhances in understanding transients. Out of these 12 lectures, you please go through them. Sometimes I do not know how far, because this has not been professionally recorded. Just I am the cameraman, I am the writer. So there were this way, that way, sometimes problems arose, but somehow I managed it. And this is what I had to say about the background of these experiments. Now, if possible, I will upload a video showing how the experimental setup, working on the experimental setup itself. But because of this situation, stuffs are coming, not coming, things, it is really not in my control. But nonetheless, I will try to do my best to upload that at opportune time after some days. But listen to me carefully now. Now, tomorrow, maybe by evening, I will upload some questions to you, some problems. I will post some problems to you via mail. I will tell that, and when to submit that, how to submit that, those things I will do, and I am really preparing those questionnaires. Okay, so till then, goodbye, and have nice time. Thank you.